No matter what you do, where you go, somebody's always watching. We all have to have a base to live on. And if you don't have something to live on, you'll just be out there wandering. So it comes down to an individual definition of what it takes to be an athlete.
Right.
That has a lot to do with what we believe in and how we think. Your parents, your brothers and sisters, if you're the oldest, then you're the trendsetter. Because your brothers and sisters or whoever grows up in the household with you are going to look to you for guidance. So you have to have something that you're basing your principles on, basing your morals on, basing your way of life on.
What advice do you have for parents to help their kids be good athletes?
One, if you're a parent, sacrifice your time to be there for your kid.
Our first episode of the podcast here with my father.
Good morning.
Yeah. So we're going to go over what it takes to be an athlete. Athlete is defined as a person trained in or good at games or exercises that require physical skill, endurance, and strength. So I want to ask my father, what does it mean to be an athlete?
Ooh, that could take on various definitions depending upon who you are, how you were raised, and what your culture is. Because some people believe being an athlete is just competing in a physical sport, like it's football, basketball, baseball, golf, and they forget about the race car drivers. They forget about the swimmers, the mountain climbers. So there's various definitions that you can being an athlete takes on. So it comes down to an individual definition of what it takes to be an athlete.
Right, I get some brownie points with Melina here. So like cheerleading, gymnastics, and other type of like chess competitions,
Right.
stuff like that,
And
where you compete.
Right, and it goes to, again, your culture, what you've been brought up in, what people tell you. We tend to believe what someone tells us because we all grow up in like a bubble and we're not exposed to other parts of the world and other things that are happening. So your definition will depend upon what your surroundings entitle you to see.
Yeah, so people need to get out more and see more things.
Yes.
So as an athlete, we know a lot of things contribute to your success. What should matter to an athlete outside of sports?
Morals, how you're brought up, again, what you believe in, how you treat others. There's a whole bunch of, again, going back to the definition, there's a whole bunch of things that we don't see that we should be exposed to, which will increase our morals and how we're brought up. And again, who we're brought up around. That has a lot to do with what we believe in and how we think.
For sure. I would say being an athlete, probably 10% is being an athlete, 90% is what you do outside and your habits that you build. And like you said, who you're around kind of influences a lot.
It does have a big influence on your parents, your brothers and sisters. If you're the oldest, then you're the trendsetter. Because your brothers and sisters or whoever grows up in the household with you are going to look to you for guidance. And even if they don't look to you and they don't say it out loud, they're watching you. And remember that fact, no matter what you do, where you go, somebody's always watching.
Yeah, Grandma always said that. Your mom always said that. And then I would say that leads me into church family was a big factor in supporting me on my athletic journey. I knew every Sunday they would say, "Good job on this week."
Yeah, you kind of took my closing statement there. I was going to build the base, and that will be the basis for my closing statement. But that's like, since you brought that up, your church family, we all have to have a base to live on. And if you don't have something to live on, you'll just be out there wandering. So you have to have something that you're basing your principles on, basing your morals on, basing your way of life on. So that gives you something to stand on and something to move forward from and something to pick from, because those people bleed into you and you pick from that as you grow older and put that into your life and you build your character from that.
Yes, sir. And then leads me to my last question. So what advice do you have for parents, or what did you do to help make us and my siblings good athletes, or what advice do you have for parents to help their kids be good athletes?
One, if you're a parent, sacrifice your time to be there for your kid, because I know I like seeing my kids perform in whatever, whether it's cheerleading, basketball, baseball, football, running track, being a manager of the team, whatever it is, your kids, as a parent, your children want to see you there. They want to see you in the stands. They want to know that you're going to be there supporting them regardless of what they're doing. And I think as a child, as an athlete, you want to see your parents there.
Right.
You want to see them there. You want to see their friends there. So build a relationship with your children to let them know that no matter what they're going through, you're going to be there. You're going to be there watching them. And then that gives them a sense of pride to know that they have someone in the stands sitting there watching them. I remember a game when you came from Quincy and played at UIS, and we put the word out, and we got a big support from the community and then also from the church. So again, it leads back to the church, because that church is for us, the church was a foundation, because my mother was a pastor, as you know, and my father didn't start out in the church, but he ended up in the church. But he always made sure we went to church. So have something that's a basis for you, whatever it is. Me and my family, the Christian home was a basis for us. So I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm telling you what we did, which was successful, I think, in our family, to have a good solid base and foundation that you can build from.
Yeah, so I would say from that, having a foundation and building a support system. Because, for me, I always had a sense of just like ease, knowing that y'all were at the game, you and mom were at the game, and grandma, pawpaw, and all my aunts, uncles, whatever. So it wasn't about winning the game anymore. It was more so just playing for the glory of God and enjoying what I did.
Right. And one thing on that is you as a parent might be that foundation for some other kid that doesn't have the foundation that your children have. So I remember, and I'm not bragging, but God has allowed us to do this. We were the support system for other kids. We would pick them up and take them to the game, and we would even go out the way as to give them a little change, because I didn't want them sitting in the corner not having what anybody else had. And again, I'm not bragging on that, but I'm just telling you what God has allowed us to do as a family, to feed into other people, because somebody else outside of your family that doesn't have that base may need that support system at that time, so that they can buy into what you're doing, and maybe be a little bit successful later on in life because they ran across what you were doing for them.
Yes, sir. And to close out, what do you want to leave for people to just take with them as far as how to become a better athlete, or just becoming a better person that happens to play sports?
For the athlete, dedicate yourself to what you want to do, not to what you're doing, but to what you want to do and where you want to get to. Sacrifice, dedication, sacrifice, but have the mental fortitude to make good decisions, because if you make good decisions, you'll have good consequences. If you don't make good decisions, you won't have such good consequences. And when our kids went off to college, I didn't tell them what to do or what not to do, but I told them that whatever they did, they would have consequences on the decisions that they made, and they would have to be the ones that would live with those decisions. So again, dedication, make good decisions, and have a base foundation from what you're moving forward from, so that you can reach back and connect with those people that you have come up with, that have fed into and poured into your life over the years.
Yes, sir. All right, we close with that. Can you look at the camera and say, I'm Herman Senor Sr., and I am good enough too?
I'm Herman Senor Sr., and I am good enough too.